The report is called the Oronsaye Report, and in it was the recommendation for the abolishment and merging of 102 government agencies and parastatals. Mrs. Ahmed told journalists yesterday that Buhari's approval has been forwarded to the head of civil service and Secretary General of the Federation. The ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) has challenged workers to use the ongoing lockdown occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic to brace up and equip themselves with information and skills that will enable them function more productively in the changing global work culture. This advice was contained in a goodwill message by the party, signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Malam Lanre Issa Onilu, to the workforce to commemorate this year's International Workers' Day. The party said that this year's celebration comes at a time the world is combating the deadly coronavirus pandemic that has kept economy locked down. It noted the pandemic has created unprecedented disruption in normal lifestyle, particularly at workplace, adding that the long-term consequential efforts will reshape work culture, ways of doing business, provision of services, and new opportunities are still difficult to be imagined. The ruling party acknowledged the tireless efforts, resilience, patience, and commitment of the Nigerian workers to the onerous task of nation building and assured them that the APC-led federal government would continue to prioritize the welfare. It then urged workers not to relent in their support for this administration as the country battles COVID-19, in addition to getting the nation's economy back on its trajectory of growth as quickly as possible. In the meantime, the Senate today said it did not approve a fresh loan of 850 billion naira for President Muhammadu Buhari during its special plenary session on Tuesday. The new chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, in a statement in Abuja, said what the Senate did was to pass a resolution to vary the terms of the approval it earlier gave for the loan request. Bashiru said the Senate approved that the 850 billion naira be now sourced from the domestic capital market as against from external sources. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic and of the challenge in the international oil market with the attendant challenges of raising the approved loan externally, the president requested that the approved loan should rather be raised through the domestic capital market. The Zamfara state government has warned the state government of Osun against deporting northern youths who allegedly sneaked into the state. In a statement today, the special advisor to the governor on public enlightenment, media and communications, Zailani Bapa, faulted the stance of the Governor Oyetola administration with the notion that the Zamfara youths are Nigerian citizens who can reside in any state. Yesterday, the Osun government raised an alarm over the large influx of northern youths, especially of Zamfara indigents, into the state. The deputy chief of staff to the governor, Prince Abdullahi Binuyo, accused the northerners of sneaking into the state, threatening that the Osun Amotekun Corps has been notified to arrest and deport the strangers. Bapa faulted Binuyo, saying the attention of Zamfara state government was drawn to a story credited to the deputy chief of staff to the governor of Osun State, Prince Adeyanju Abdullahi Binuyo, where he alleged an influx of Zamfara indigents into the state and described it as dangerous. In the same vein, the Benue State Action Committee on COVID-19 today repatriated 58 persons suspected to have been trafficked into Makurdi, the state capital, back to their respective states. Deputy Governor and Chairman of the Benue COVID-19 Action Committee, Engineer Benson Abonu, led a task force to repatriate the youths from the state in the early hours of today. Speaking, Abonu disclosed that the youths were brought to the state in violation of the lockdown rules and had to be returned to their homes. The Deputy Governor revealed that the committee provided the means of transportation as well as security and documentation to facilitate safe passage on the highways for the affected young persons. Abonu stressed that the lockdown in Benue State remains in force and that anyone found violating it will face appropriate sanctions. The Deputy Governor called on the people to close ranks and support the administration of Governor Samuel Ortom, whom he said has given tremendous support to the committee to enable it win the war against COVID-19. Face masks were also handed to the said youths after they had been given orientation on safety tips necessary for them to avoid contracting and spreading the virus. A former lawmaker at the upper legislative chamber, Senator Shehu Sani, has warned against the decision to relax the coronavirus lockdown in Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun states. Sani, who represented Kano Central Senatorial District in the last National Assembly dispensation, blamed the government for being unable to feed the people, which led to the decision to lift the lockdown. He warned that Nigerians, specifically Abuja residents, will not keep the conditions attached to the ease of the lockdown. During his address, President Muhammadu Buhari announced that the restriction on social and religious gathering would remain in place. The president said that as from May 4, selected businesses will open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that the current lockdown will be relaxed same day. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has reacted to reports that drinking palm oil can stop the spread of coronavirus. Reports had emerged a few days ago that drinking palm oil could stop a patient of COVID-19 from infecting others. However, reacting, NCDC describes the claim as false. The agency, in a post on its Twitter page today, urged Nigerians to discard such reports and adhere only to guidelines from health authorities. You are listening to TIMSED National News, coming to you from TIMSED 94.1 FM, transmitting from Ile-Ajun, Oke-Agboja, Ijebu-Ijesha in the state of Osun, Nigeria. You're welcome back. The General Superintendent, Holy Ghost Revival Mission, Ilesha, Osun State, Evangelist Joshua A. Ajaigbe, has declared a 3-day special fasting and prayers for the nation from tomorrow, 1st of May, to Sunday, 3rd of May, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon daily. The church, in a statement by its media department, Dawn to Dawn Lighthouse, says due to the pandemic and measures taken by the government and other organizations, the 3 days special program tagged God's people in God's presence, COVID-19 and divine deliverance for Nigeria. A time to avert an impending doom on the nation would be transmitted live on this station, TIMSED 94.1 FM, Ijebu-Ijesha, for the 3 days. The statement, which states further that COVID-19 pandemic has brought about untold hardship in every sector of human endeavor, enjoins everyone to join the program and use the opportunity to reach out to God and ask for both public and personal help at this crucial time. Evangelist Ajaigbe, in the statement, says world is in time of emergency where almost everything is on ground zero. adding that it's time to turn to God for help. Meanwhile, Most Reverend Ignatius Kegama, the Archbishop of Abuja Catholic Archdiocese, has urged the federal government to strictly sanction anyone who diverts palliatives aimed at cushioning the effects of the lockdown due to COVID-19. Kegama, who gave the advice in an interview with journalists in Abuja, said that some people often use emergencies and crises to enrich themselves. According to him, religious leaders should be part of COVID-19 task force since they are directly connected with the people. The Archbishop, however, said the church would be available for collaboration with the federal government to combat the COVID-19 pandemic and to alleviate the suffering of the people. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State today urged leaders of Shasha Market in Akure to limit the crowd in the market due to the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Akeredolu made the call in Akure during an unscheduled visit to the market. He expressed concern for the large crowd in the market in spite of the order on social distancing and dusk to dawn curfew in the state to prevent the COVID-19 pandemic. The governor gave an example of Kano, where the pandemic had claimed so many lives due to non-compliance with social distancing. According to Akeredolu, the Shasha market will now have 2 days on and 2 days off with effect from tomorrow. He also directed the presence of police personnel in the market to enforce the social distancing order. An Ilorin Magistrates Court today sentenced 4 persons to 14 days self-isolation for attempting to escape with one Kazeem Oladayo, a COVID-19 patient at Sobi Isolation Center in Ilorin. The Chief Magistrate, Mr. Bio Soliu, also ordered the convicts to pay 20,000 naira fine, each in addition to the isolation sentence. Soliu also ordered the NCDC officers who arrested the violators to liaise with the officers of the Correctional Center and the state's COVID-19 Technical Committee to ensure that the convicts were isolated. The convicts are Abdulganiyu Sadiq, Abdullah Isiaka, Sadiq Akim, and Aremu Wasiu. They were convicted for violating the state government's restriction of movement order and the rules guiding patients at the isolation center. The prosecutor, Inspector Nasiru Yusuf, urged the court to try the offenders summarily since they had pleaded guilty. Yusuf said that the patient was an interstate driver who came from Lagos to Ilorin. There was panic at an Ikorodu community on Sunday afternoon after a 26-year-old man identified as Babajide Tewe was found dead in a well. The incident occurred at Amusa Said Street, Ofin, around 1:30 p.m. It was gathered that the man was discovered by his mother, Abosedi, who had gone out to fetch water from the well. The woman, it was learned, raised the alarm after seeing a body at the bottom of the well, which attracted other neighbors to the scene. Journalists gathered that residents rallied round and brought the man out of the well, but he was already dead. According to sources, policemen from Ikorodu Division were invited to the scene and they evacuated the body after inspecting it and taking photographs. Contacted, police spokesman Bala Elkana said it was a case of suspected suicide as there was no violent mark or evidence the man might have been pushed into the well. He said investigation was ongoing, adding that the body was moved to Ikorodu General Hospital for autopsy. Before I go, here again are the highlights. President Muhammadu Buhari approves implementation of Stephen Oronsaye report. Federal government orders civil servants to resume duty on Monday. Zamfara State accuses Osun of illegal deportation of indigents as Benue repatriates 58 suspected trafficked persons. Holy Ghost Revival Mission, Ilesha, declares 3 days fasting and prayers for God's intervention. 4 sentenced for attempting to escape with coronavirus patient in Ilorin. 26-year-old man found dead inside well in Lagos. That ends Team Said National News, read by Ifeoluwa Olaoye and packaged by Afolabi Koka. Good evening. Thanks for listening.